Yo guys, DJ Raven here, and I just want to say I want to do some reviews on the DJ decks that I've been using. So after having my first DJ deck, which was the Hercules Instinct, you can see it there, not in so great detail, but hey, I gotta say I was really impressed with DJing and the equipment. Now, I'm going to give pros and cons on what I have here. Okay, the pros of this. It pretty much has everything to start off DJing with. It has the loops and stuff here. I mean, like you've got loops, things like loop control, effects, samples, which contain a drum kit, which comes with the software. You've got your EQs, you've got the jog wheels. Now, I'll come back to those in a second, but you've got pitch control. Obviously, you've got your pause and play and cue buttons, and you've got the crossfader and volume. Now, the browsing system I like on this as well, although I think it could be improved. I'm not sure how, but I don't necessarily think it's the best browsing system I've seen, but I think it's fairly good. So yeah, the cons of this I think are mainly the jog wheels. The good things about the jog wheels is that they're touch sensitive. You can push them down to use them, whereas that you can tell when you've got them pushed and pressed down, or that is the fact that you actually got to push them to get them to work. And that's the only really bad thing about this is the jog wheels. Otherwise, I think it's a great controller. Looking at some of the details here, we've got a headphone hub, which is really great. Although I don't advise using it, I advise using your headphone jack in your computer because it's so much better than this one. Because this one here doesn't so much allow the volume control. So you have to sort of like adjust the volume on your computer rather than with the controller, which is what I don't like about it. Otherwise, I've got to say, this is probably a very good one to start off DJing with. If you just want to start out, this is good to start off with. So that is definitely one I recommend. The one I have now, which is this one, the Numark Mixtrack Pro, is a lot bigger. I'm going to compare the size here so you can get a good comparison. That's the Numark Mixtrack Pro, and that's the size comparison. It's very small compared to this one. Now, I've got to say, considering this is a very big controller, that is part of what I don't like about it, is that it's so big. But considering I've had it for a while now, I can see why it's so necessary to have. Now, obviously, you've got a lot more advanced equipment here. You're looking at a new browse system. You're looking at these new knobs here, which are your cue volumes and your cue mix and your mix volumes. And a lot of the genuine things like the jog wheels, they're a lot better actually, a lot better than I expected. So I'm practicing on my scratching now. But you've got your volumes, your crossfade obviously. The pitch control's a lot better. You've got your pitch control here, and the pitch bend buttons, which I think are really useful. So I definitely recommend these are great. Things like hot cues also really useful to get, although this one only allows you to have 3, whereas this one, the other one allows you to have 4. That's the Instinct allows you to have 4. This allows you to have 3, which isn't as good. But you've got the scratch button, so you can turn scratch mode on really easily. You've got your key lock button, which is probably a really useful button for me because I use it so much. The key lock's really great for tapping in and out of your keys like that. The master gain doesn't seem to work with Serato, which is the software I use. But you know, I think some things you just got to go with, and I'll figure it out eventually. Then again, I haven't really read the manual. Looking down at these bottom buttons here, you've got your sync button, your cue button, your sort of play and pause button, and your stutter button. Now, the sync button I use a lot, and I know that's quite lazy of me, but I use it a lot. You've got your cue button, which is basically, if you don't know what cue is, it's like a bookmark, which you can just sort of like mark a track in the song. Although you've got your main hotkeys up here, so I wouldn't really use this much, but it's just an extra cue. It's probably good to have this at the very beginning of the song, so you can just hit that cue straight away. Then you've got obviously your pause play button is really obvious. And the step button, which doesn't seem to do anything. Then again, I haven't looked in the manual, so I don't really know what to do with it. But I've tried pressing it a couple of times now and again, and it just doesn't seem to work. Now, the loop system in this is quite good. You've got your loop system along the bottom here. Now, on Serato, it only gives you the loop system on manual. Now, if you can't see, on the top of this button here, it says manual, and on the bottom it says auto. But it's supposed to be that when you press it, it flashes, and that means it's on auto mode. But that only seems to work with Virtual DJ, and I don't have Virtual DJ because this came with Serato. But again, things like that I can work with on manual. But to explain it on manual is quite difficult. Basically, obviously you've got in, out, and reloop. In obviously is to select your in point, and you can adjust that with your jog wheels. Out is obviously to mark your out point, and then if you want to change those at any time, you can just click those and you can move it around with that. And obviously it's the same with out. If you just want to change the out point, you just click out and adjust with your jog wheel. Reloop is basically if you want to cancel the loop but keep it there in case you want to go back to it. So yeah, you can sort of click that when you want to finish the loop, and if you want to go back to it in a second, you can click that. It'll go straight back to the loop from where you are. The effects, I think, are also a lot better than the Instinct because they have a wider range of effects. You've got obviously your effect control, which means you can. This is really useful because it can change how effective the actual effect is. It can change the effectivity of the effect. And you can get that to work really well. This second knob only again seems to work in Virtual DJ, and because I haven't really used it, so I don't really know what that does. But these two are very useful, and so overall, if I were to give this one a rating, I would probably give this around an 8 out of 10. Mainly because I don't know what some of the buttons do, but I've got to say this is the best DJ control I've seen so far, which I understand what most of it does. Obviously, I haven't moved on to trying it just yet. If I was going to rate the Hercules Instinct right here, I'd probably rate this around 6 or 7 out of 10. It's got the basic essentials that you need for DJing. The jog wheels aren't so good, but and sometimes these pedals, I don't like the pedals so much because they have a bit of lag on them, and that isn't so good. But otherwise, everything else is really, really great. And I've got to say, yeah, probably around 6 or 7 out of 10. So, yeah. I think the other one, my Mixtrack Pro, is probably a lot better, and that's why I'll give that a better rating. But, you know, I'm going to go back to this and quickly look at some of the details. So, you've got your headphone hub here. Now, you will need one of these. Can't get it out right now. You will need one of these. So if you haven't got one, you will need one, because these, if you just try to plug your headphones in without one of these, it's not going to fit. You're going to need one of these. Now I've got a few of these because I used to own a piano, and we needed these for headphones, so we had a couple of these anyway. But yeah, moving on to this, we have the microphone input, which also needs one of these. So again, you're probably going to want about 2 if you've got a microphone and headphones. But you know, you're going to need one of these. And then you've got mic volume control. You can change that with your own knob. Flipping around to the other side, we've got the USB port here, which can easily come in and out. We've got the 2 speaker outputs. So we've got the 2 speaker outputs just here, which I don't really need to explain because it's fairly obvious. You just plug your speakers in right there, and you can get it working straight away. So yeah, and I've got to say, with that, that's very helpful. Now, I will warn you now that with these two, if you do not have speakers input, you will need to use sound coming from your headphones. Serato doesn't, for some stupid reason, allow you to play sound from your computer speakers. It only puts through inputs, such as headphones and speakers. So if you don't have those, it's probably about time that you bought some if you're planning to buy this. But you need to make sure you have the right cables, because I've had a look at some in some of the shops near me, and they don't seem to have the right cables. So just so you know that, make sure you have the right cables for speakers, because you don't want to waste your money. So I've got to say thank you guys for watching. I hope this has helped you with deciding what kind of DJ control you want to start with. Thank you for watching my reviews. It's probably the first time I've made a review on anything. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you with one of my new mixes, which is probably going to come on my channel soon. But yeah, I'll see you then. So thanks for watching.